Hi everyone, it's the start of a brand new week on 67 Hail Hail and just everywhere in the world if your week does indeed begin on a Monday. And it's a big week for Celtic. It's one of these major monumental derby weeks when we spend about 5 or 6 days straight previewing a big game against Rangers, and then on match day itself you either enjoy or endure the fixture. Hopefully it's the former this time round. It certainly was last time at Ibrox. It's funny because after that game at Ibrox, we did our video, we went back to the pub for several pints of enjoyment, and I was saying to the guys that as much as this upcoming semi-final is a game against Rangers, I kind of felt like it was a bit of an outlier and a bit of a bonus, if anything. You know, the league is a priority. We won the big one at Ibrox. Hopefully we can win the next one at Celtic Park. The cup game, you know, whatever happens, happens. It would be a bonus to win the match. That was where I was coming at that stage. I've certainly changed because I'm in a battle fever mode at this point, and we're only on Monday. This is a huge opportunity for this Celtic team on Sunday to get to another final and play one of the Edinburgh sides. Winning a treble in Ange's first season at the club would be a monumental achievement, and that's the opportunity we have ahead of us on Sunday. And this team, when presented with opportunities, usually take them. So let's crack on with the video and I'll do much less talking, hopefully. So we've got a few interesting bits for you today. First of all, we did a live show last night, me and John being the people involved. That's linked above, so check that out for lots of gushing about Ange, a bit of a chat about the important role Josip Juranovic seems to be playing, not even really on the pitch either, and you know, other things as well. Matt O'Reilly getting a good mention, for example, as well. In terms of today and this week, obviously the Cup is going to kind of dominate headlines. That's what people are interested in now, but there's lots to get our teeth into with regards to the league as well. At the time of recording, the SPFL post-split fixtures have not been announced. Don't know what's keeping them. I mean, I could have done this on Sunday night for you for a small fee. There's not really much I can say as a result. I want to wait and get the fixtures confirmed before we obviously get into what Celtic's last 5 league games of the season looks like. If they are released by, I would say, the back of 4 o'clock today, I will just add a wee segment into this video in about 30 seconds. And if the video just moves on, you can safely assume that the post-split fixtures haven't been announced in time for me to include them in this video. So as they say, I think at weddings, if anyone knows of a good reason for why the split fixtures aren't announced today, speak now. Okay, so I have returned and it's about 5:05, and in the last half an hour the SPFL have released the post-split fixtures for the Premiership. Impeccable timing. You know, this video is probably not going to go out until about 8 or 9 o'clock at this rate, but who cares? It's just more work for me. Let's batter on with the fixtures then. Celtic's 5 final matches of the Premiership season. All of these games are on Sky Sports. Starting with the game on Sunday the 24th of April, a 2:30 kick-off, a trip to the Highlands against Ross County. We then follow that up with back-to-back home matches, and they're big ones as well. The biggest one against Rangers on the 1st of May, a noon kick-off there, and 6 days later, Saturday the 7th of May, again a noon kick-off for the visit of Hearts. If we are still going at this stage, as in still, you know, an actual title to win, we'll go to Tannadice on Wednesday the 11th of May, a 7:30 kick-off there, and we will finish the season, as we have done a few times I think, with a home game against Motherwell on Saturday the 14th of May. Saturday, not Sunday as it often is at the end of the season. Now I've done a wee kind of comparison with Rangers fixtures as well for you, just so you have an idea of how their fixtures look. Obviously league table on the left there. Now there's so many different permutations you can take by looking at this, you know, teams playing first, putting pressure on other sides, etc. The main one that I think people are looking at straight away is that game on May the 1st and the matches before it as well. We're at Ross County, they're at Motherwell. If they were to slip up at Fir Park and we were to beat Ross County, then we would have the chance to win the league against Rangers at Celtic Park on the 1st of May. What a massive opportunity that could be if that one plays out. But let's face it, we'll take winning it any which way, given how we started this season. We know our final 5 league matches of the season. I'm sure there'll be far more to talk about tomorrow on the channel. But I'm going to go for now and get on with the rest of the video. So let's return back to a much less stressed Hamish. Okay, time for a Wanna VAR, which is our almost weekly segment now on the video assistant referee and its introduction to Scottish football. We're being drip-fed information on VAR at this stage. Remember, all 42 SPFL clubs will vote on its introduction a week on Tuesday, the 19th of April that is. It requires 75% of votes from Premiership clubs, 75% of votes from Championship clubs, and 75% of votes from League One and League Two combined for some daft reason. If it's voted in, it will be brought in for fixture round 17 of next season on December the 17th and the 18th, right after the World Cup when Scottish football resumes. Think of it as a nice wee Christmas present to look forward to. The entire VAR bill will be footed by the Premiership clubs, which obviously makes sense given that's going to be the only league that installs VAR at this stage. Basically, the better the team and the higher their ranking in the league, the more they will have to contribute to the overall VAR pot. This is how the cost will be divvied up, with the league winners paying around about 3 times the amount of the clubs at the bottom. That does all add up to about 100%. By the way, I've checked that, so you don't need to bother doing that. I know what some of you are like. VAR is said to cost around £1.2 million per season in total. So doing a wee bit of maths, I reckon Celtic are looking at around about £200,000 per season. Pocket change to a Champions League club like ourselves. I've not really got a problem with Celtic and the other teams at the top of the league having to pay a little bit more than others. We are the richest club in the country, and VAR is, in my opinion, a really important thing for just the image of Scottish football and moving with the times. I think it's really important. Then if Celtic have to pay a little bit more, then I'm not bothered about that at all. Being honest, £200,000 isn't a great deal of money to Celtic, really, when you consider the amount of money we bring in over the course of a season. VAR will exist in Scotland not to ask if the right decision has been achieved, but to check if the referee or assistant referee has made an obvious error. Now, there's a bit of a difference there, so it's worth remembering that. We'll know more next Tuesday when that vote happens. Surely it's going to go through. As I've already said, I think it's a really important thing for Scottish football. And even though clubs in the lower divisions are getting a vote, which to me is a bit daft, I think, it should really only be the Premiership and possibly the Championship as well. But given, clubs in the 4th tier of Scottish football are voting this is daft. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully the right decision is arrived at, and hopefully VAR is implemented in Scottish football as soon as possible. One competition that definitely uses VAR, and I've checked this, is the UEFA Champions League, and that's of course where Celtic are hoping to be playing their football next season. Now, a wee recap on our current chances of playing in the group stage of European football's Premier Club competition. They're very good, that's all I'll say for now. Recently, there has been a bit of chat about this idea of Celtic swooping in to take the reward of group stage football if we win the league, after all the hard work of honest club Rangers. And while this is hysterically funny, it isn't really true at all, and I'm going to explain why that's the case right now. So, to sort out their country coefficients, UEFA looks at the last 5 seasons' overall performance from clubs, but there's a 1-year lag in this, which basically means that the rankings for next season were sorted all the way back at the end of last season. They were taken from last season and the 4 years prior to that. So let's take a wee look at the Scottish contributions for those 5 years that earned Scotland a spot in the Champions League groups if the winner qualifies already through their league. And shock horror, Celtic contributed more points than any other Scottish side. So it seems pretty unfair to suggest that we are simply latching on to what Rangers have achieved in Europe. I thought I would just clarify that. Now, Rangers did overtake us in the rankings this season, but as we know, these things can change very quickly, especially if we bank 4 points just for playing in the Champions League group stage next season. It's a team effort, this whole thing, and as much as Celtic have contributed more points for the total for next season, Rangers have done their bit as well, so we've got to applaud them for their good efforts. Right, let's move on. Okay, what else? Some interesting comments from Ange Postecoglou at the weekend about Kyogo's potential involvement at Hampden against the aforementioned Honest Club Rangers. Ange said, I wouldn't think we would be throwing him in, say next week, if you're asking that. I doubt he'd be starting next week, but if we can get him some more game time in the next couple of weeks, then in the last 3 or 4 games, he'd be ready to start. I did say this at the weekend, and I'm not going to say I told you so or anything like that, but I did feel that Kyogo was a bit off being able to start a game like Rangers on Sunday. I think he can certainly impact the game from the bench. We saw that on Saturday. He looked razor sharp. Razor sharp? I don't even know if that's the saying. We saw that at the weekend. He looked really, really sharp when he came on and should have had a goal. And I think he is a player who could really offer us something on Sunday, but I just didn't think he'd be able to start the match, which is a little bit of an issue for us, especially if Georgios Giakoumakis is indeed not fit for the game, and we don't really know about that yet. I guess we'll find out later in the week. Daizen Maeda would be the obvious option to lead the line against Rangers. I know Stevie felt that we needed him on the left-hand side to combat the threat of Tavernier. I think a front three of Maeda through the middle, Jota on the left and Abada on the right could work fantastically against Rangers. I really wouldn't be too worried about that at all. I would rather Giakoumakis is fit. I wouldn't be starting Kyogo in that match. I think he's a player who can offer something off the bench but is not ready to start at this stage. And Ange clearly feels the same way. So, great minds think alike. Just on Abada, while we're chatting about him, Abada and his father, Nir Beaton, were at Manchester City versus Liverpool yesterday. Very nice of them to watch a lower level of football than the stuff they were playing a day earlier. I guess you can learn from lesser players too. So good stuff. What else? Oh yeah, the small matter, very small matter of Celtic using my beautiful voice to sell tickets for tomorrow's B-team game against Rangers.
You might well get the opportunity. When that opportunity comes, you need to be ready to take it. So, yeah.
Just finally from me, the atmosphere as well, you're hopefully looking forward. I think they're opening up the standing section as well, so it should be a good atmosphere.
1,500 times 10. Oh. Aye. So I'll settle for 10% of the gate receipts if that works, and we'll just call it quits there, Celtic. I'm actually going tomorrow night. I'm quite looking forward to it. It's a Lowland League match. It's Celtic B against Rangers B. It's at Celtic Park, so hopefully we get a good crowd for that match. Bit of a score to settle as well for the B team players, as we got a bit of a heavy defeat at Ibrox a few weeks ago. Plenty of good young talent playing on the pitch tomorrow night. And yeah, it's not the biggest Celtic Rangers match of the week, but it's certainly a nice wee appetiser that will hopefully set the tone for what's to come. So I'll be going, hopefully get some content for the channel as well that will probably bring you on Wednesday's video. We've got loads planned for the week. Apart from that, we're hoping to have Jackie on as well, and maybe a few other wee bits of interest and stuff. We're well over 28,000 subscribers at this stage. A big thanks to all of you who have jumped on the 67 Hail Hail bandwagon in recent weeks. Let's see if we can keep that moving forward and get to the big 30k before the end of the season. But do you know what comes before 30k? It's 29k, and thanks Stevie for answering that one for me. Anyway, keep subbing, legends, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.